Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Around the Ballpark podcast for your Sunday evening, April the 12th. We are live, and we have very special guests. We'll get to know Brad here in just a few moments. But as you know, guys, Darren and I are lifelong suffering Met fans, and this weekend was very difficult to get through. Not only did we lose 5 in a row, we got swept at home by the team that does not actually have a home right now. Sort of has a home in Sacramento, but and I believe we have not scored in 31 innings, if I'm not mistaken. It's absolutely going downhill quickly here for the Mets. But but we wanted to touch on that. But Darren, how are you doing? All good on your end?
I'm doing well. Went to a nice hockey game today, and I just enjoy myself, and it's kind of good. And went to a couple of movies, so life's good.
Cool. Yeah, we'll have to catch up on those. And I went and saw a movie Friday, so we'll have to catch up on You, Me, and Tuscany. But of course, we have Brad Steele with us as well. We're going to get to know him in just a moment. But before we do that, as always, we have to give a shout out to our sponsors over at Nashville Tax Solutions.
Listen. We all know that Wrestlemania is coming up next weekend. But you know what's coming up before then? Tax time. And you know what? It's still not too late. Right now, you might be stressed. You might be thinking, what do I do? Do I need to file an extension? Or whatever the case may be. The fine folks at Nashville Tax Solutions can help you through that stress. There's no need to stress when you have Chris Bennett and his team together to help you get through this tax season. Maybe you have a lien, maybe you forgot to file in the past, or you just need an extension. You know what? There's a few things you don't want to do on your own, right? Taxes is one of them. If you have situations where, can I write this off? I don't know if I write this off. Am I doing this right? I don't know. Chris Bennett and his team can help. So give Chris Bennett and his team at Nashville Tax Solutions a call. 855-627-4829. Visit NashvilleTaxSolutions.com. Or if you just want to kind of just ask for some information, email info@NashvilleTaxSolutions.com. Nashville Tax Solutions, real people who really care to get you real results.
Thank you, Darren, and thank you, Christopher and team, for all that you do. Believed in us from day one. We had just under 100 subscribers, and you believed in us, and now we are just over 4,000. And so just want to say thank you once again, as we do each and every podcast. With that said, we want to honor our guest of the evening. Brad Steele is with us from Elite's Wrestling Conversation. Brad, thank you so much for making us or setting aside some time for us tonight to just have a fun little conversation. So if you wouldn't mind, just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and kind of what you do and how your channel came about, especially on Instagram.
Well, appreciate you guys having me on. My name is Brad Steele. The name Elites is Steele backwards, Eleets. So I am actually a singer, songwriter.
Nice.
That's how I kind of got started in content creation back right at COVID, right at the start of COVID. I started doing music-related content, did that for a couple of years, and then I started doing videos about my favorite pro sports team, the Tennessee Titans. Started doing videos about them on that channel. That took off, so that led to another channel called Two Tone Talk, which is a Titans/NFL podcast that I do every week and daily uploads on that channel as well. Been doing that for a couple of years now. And then my other great hobby that I love is pro wrestling. And so I'd had this account, Elite's Wrestling Conversation, that I just kind of wasn't consistently uploading, but I just, I'd post a TikTok here, an Instagram reel there. Actually, I didn't even have Instagram at the time. It was just TikToks occasionally. And then in December, I did a TikTok doing what I considered to be a bad impersonation of Bret Hart. And that took off, and that led to a John Cena impersonation type video, which led to a Triple H one. And then I kind of found a niche with the Triple H thing, with having my creative meetings and everything, bringing in Road Dogg and Bruce Pritchard and all of them. And so now I've been uploading on TikTok daily to that account since December, start of December. And then I started an Instagram page for it, which took off as well, as you mentioned. I post on there daily wrestling content. I'm running 3 channels. I've got a music related channel. I've got a Tennessee Titans NFL channel, and then the wrestling thing. But, it's a good problem to have. So I enjoy everything I get to talk about and do.
That's awesome. I'm sure with 3 channels, consistency is key, and I'm sure things will come up, along the way, and miss a day here and there. But it's definitely at least on Instagram, even though that's the one I'm on the least. That's definitely kind of checking out what your newest video of the day is definitely one of the first things that I do. It's what I do. It's
Why
so
you do what you do.
So I think because even though like it's a spin on what's probably actually said, what makes it so funny too is, like, even though it may seem far-fetched, like we really do believe that that's probably some of the conversation. And if they're not at least saying it out loud, they're probably thinking, and we all know this whole Pat McAfee stuff that's going on and Jelly Roll stuff that's going on. We like them as individuals, but something's not adding up here. And so we know that whether the words are being said at those meetings and what's actually being believed, it's probably not too far off.
Well, and even if, the way I like, it's a heightened version of, what I imagine it to be. Like, of course, some of it is just ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous. But, I did imitations, like an impression of Bret Hart, and kind of, Bret Hart nowadays, he says the most outlandish things you've ever heard in your life in his interviews and stuff. And I got a message from Natty Neidhart, his niece, who wrestles for WWE, of course. And I was like, oh no. I was like, I wonder if she's like offended. And she was like, I think it's hilarious. She's like, I think the whole thing's hilarious. So that gave me some peace of mind to know that, like, it's all in good fun. Like, I totally understand that Triple H doesn't have an easy job. Like, Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes probably about as easy as it could get, but still, it's not an easy job. And I'm not saying I could do better, but it's a fun commentary on what's good on the show, what's bad. And I just, some of it's heightened, some of it's probably kind of, especially these ones from the past where I bring Vince in and it's just insane, because he's insane. But that's what makes it fun, is just making it crazy.
And what I love too, and Darren, you could probably attest to a little bit too from because you have a big background on social media as well, is what I love about it, it's so refreshing to me, at least, your channel, because there's so much toxicity. Like, we can not like something without having to like vomit out the mouth, like cuss word here, cuss word there. Like, we can have fun with it at their expense, but we're not, like, we just want the product to be better. We're not getting high blood pressure. We're not screaming all to the rooftops when something's not going right. So that's, I think it's all in good fun. And I think, I appreciate it.
I've been doing, social media for quite a while, and with a couple of podcasts and such. And it's very interesting because, Brad, it's probably a dynamic that you excel in. You have to ignore a lot of those people, but you have to answer a few so there's engagement. You can't just, post and forget about it if you are trying to build your following. So there's just a happy medium you got to figure out. And it's not easy. And you just have to stay with it.
Absolutely. And that's kind of, you know, in addition to just making sure you're putting out some semblance of good content, like you said,
Mhm.
just engaging with people. And like you said, I think that Mike, you said this just a second ago. Like, yes, you can do the content, and I see this in football too. When I do football content, you can do the content where you just get red in the face and scream and go nuts every day, and you know your life is ruined because you didn't like a storyline on WWE. You know, but I think at some point that starts to feel fake because it's like if that's all it is all the time, and it's just it gets to a point where it's like, you know, we can have a reasonable discussion about, you know, hey, I didn't like this. I'm not going to skip WrestleMania. I'm not going to boycott the show because I didn't like this. It's, you know, it's not life or death. You know, it's a fun thing to talk about. And professional wrestling as a just a very idea of it, it's a funny business overall.
Yeah,
like
it's great.
Sometimes it gets serious, and sometimes, you know, you suspend your disbelief. But the premise of it is that it's fun to talk about because it's the crazy world of pro wrestling, sports entertainment. Like you almost have to get crazy in order to discuss such a thing, you know?
Yeah, you do. And I don't know if it was the same. I know, Darren, you don't watch as much, but was it like this for you, Brad? I remember back in the day, like, not that we had to defend watching wrestling, but there were times, especially in the Vince McMahon era, where or like, okay, we're not only suspending disbelief, but we're trying to build the fan base. And every single time I would have the wife come in or someone come in, oh, you got to see this. It was always like a Santino Marella segment or a Divas Pudding match segment. And it's like, okay, I lost them. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. It's funny.
to...
My wife just doesn't get it. She does it like I showed her a little bit of just past clips of WWE and she just was blown away because she just thought it was two people out there wrestling. She didn't know there were interviews and segments and outlandish things. So I just went through and I showed her, you know, Vince's limo blowing up that time or the time that, you know, Ric Flair, I don't even remember, like without getting into detail, there was a main event segment with Edge and Lita years ago where they certainly didn't wrestle. I will just say that. They were in the ring together and they were doing something physical, but they were not having a match, is what I will say. And she was like, this is what they do on this show. I was like, well, sometimes, like I showed her Austin in the beer truck coming down there. She's like, what is this? You know?
Yeah, I could see where that would scare the bejesus out of some people for sure.
It's a crazy form of entertainment.
So, you know, again, I don't know today's wrestling nearly as much as I used to know it in the past. But before we start, I know we're kind of short on time. You know, we have a hard out at 9. But what's with this whole Ultimate Warrior nonsense I'm seeing on TikTok? There were 2 Ultimate Warriors. There was one. There was another one. What is that nonsense?
Well, neither.
I think that just recycles every few years.
Yeah, that's just one of those that always comes back around. I don't buy it, but it's kind of like it's like the Montreal thing where they think it was part of the storyline. They think it was a work. I'm like, that just comes up every couple of years. It's just like a recycled kind of conspiracy theory that gets thrown out when people get bored.
It was, you know, the thing with Warrior, of course, that, you know, went to the Hall of Fame, went to that Raw that he spoke at. He had that eerie comment when everyone, you know, beats his last breath. And then the next morning he passes away. And I remember like about to get on the plane. I'm like, wait, what? He was just eerie, you know, to say the least. But so we're going to have some fun with this. We're going to kind of cover the match card for WrestleMania 42. But I have to say, before we start that, Brad, I actually played a clip of it on our show on Thursday night, kind of previewing tonight. I have to say, I've seen all the videos. I was a little biased, though, for the Easter video that you released because I'm a children's pastor myself. So I love that. That made my day right before it was so good, well done, and just, man, like, it was so spot on. I just want to give a shout out.
I'm a worship pastor. I'm a worship pastor myself. So I'm
beautiful.
I'm a believer. That's why I didn't get into detail on the Edge Lita thing. I didn't want to go too far, but without saying exactly what it was. But a lot of people have asked, why don't you do an impression of Jim Cornette? I'm like, man, I'm a worship pastor at a church. I can't do that. Okay, unless I'm just going to beep every word. Like, I can't do that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, I don't think. Now, fun quick sidebar too. So I think Darren, you were not available for that particular night, but I was fortunate enough to get. I say the word fortunate, maybe not. We recorded an entire podcast with Just Incredible. And the only thing I said was, look, I'm, children's pastor. If one word slips here and there, no big deal. But
I think I was on with you that night.
You what? You might have been?
I was on with you, yeah.
And I was like, all I ask, if one slips, no big deal. But please try to keep it. And he tried, but it was just, I didn't have any editing skills at the time. So I actually never released the video because it was just so much. And unfortunately, you hear a lot of the scams he's done and stuff. And he seems like he's on the right path and he goes back down. He says he's at a hospital, but he looks like he's at a hotel. So hopefully everything's on the up and up now. I don't know. But yeah, that was unfortunate. So. But Darren, I know you got the match card there in front of you. But before we do, got to show a quick photo of our man, one of our loyal people on this show, Brad. Once you kind of get to know our channel, we have a little bit of fun with Paddington Bear. He just makes an appearance randomly at every single episode. So he's going to hop on real quick. He's excited. He is ready to go. Macho Man, Paddington Savage right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Darren. Let's tackle that first match.
All right. So we start off with the undisputed WWE Championship. Is that the one you want me to start with?
Sure, sounds good. Well, particular order. That'll be the main event for night one. So the top.
Oh no! Then we're gonna wait on that. I'm sorry. I'm reading this inverted. Let's talk Logan Paul, fresh off of his conversation with Joel Osteen, by the way. Austin Theory and I Show Speed versus the Usos and LA Knight. And that's going to air in the first hour, by the way. So, yeah, I should have read that. All right, who's going to win and why?
Oh, man. I feel like Logan and them should probably win. I mean, they're never going to do anything with LA Knight. So he'll probably take the pinfall here. And I guess like they've been teasing Jay turning heel for the last, year. So maybe that'll happen here. I know people are going to rant about the celebrity involvement and that's kind of been a lot with the Jelly Roll and the Pat McAfee, but I don't mind I Show Speed. I think he's been very entertaining in this role of like, he keeps getting suckered into being a heel pretty much. Like he doesn't want to be a heel. He doesn't want to be with the heel group, but he keeps messing up. Yeah. That's entertaining to me. So I think he'll do some fun stuff in this match. I think Logan and them will win. The heels, Logan and Theory and Speed.
My quick 2 cents on that, because Darren, on us, obviously I Show Speed's one of the most well-known YouTube streamers, and so he actually had LA Knight came to his house during a live stream, and they continued the storyline on his own YouTube channel during a live stream. I was like, wow, that's dedication to your craft. Because, like you mentioned, LA Knight just gets the LA Knight treatment for whatever reason. I can see a situation. We already know the rumored tag match for Backlash. I wouldn't be surprised if I Show Speed pins LA Knight in this 6-man, and it sets up some sort of LA Knight I Show Speed match at Backlash. Triple H will be shouting that from the rooftops.
God help us. God help us.
That's where I think we're going. It's the first match. People won't get as upset because they have the rest of the night, but that'll be my prediction. I'll take.
It's bold.
Yeah, I'll take Logan Austin and I Show Speed as well, with I Show pinning LA Knight.
So let's move on, by the way, to the unsanctioned match: Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. And here's my question: if it's unsanctioned, how are they wrestling?
Well, that's tough to try to explain. I just know that it pretty much it just means they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, shenanigans will happen.
Yeah,
shenanigans ensue.
they have about 10 different ways. Sometimes they call it no holds barred. Sometimes they call it
Yes,
a
the piercing
hardcore match.
sprawl, the no holds barred.
It all means the same thing. I don't know. I mean, I like both. I actually think these guys have done a good job in the build to this. I think this has been a well-built match. I like them both. I just feel like Drew is owed a win at this point. He gave up the title back to Cody. He, never in the pandemic, he was like the main guy, and he never got to actually have his moment in front of fans. When he did, Damian Priest cashed in the briefcase immediately. He has to have a babyface turn coming at some point because he's just such a sympathetic character when you think about it. So I'm going to go with Drew to win this one, even though I do like Jacob Fatu a lot.
You brought up the briefcase. When that thing was opened, everybody was disappointed. Have they gotten over that yet?
Who was that?
Was it a suitcase or a briefcase, Mike? In the
last? They've got, because that was from I believe that was when CM Punk was injured back in the day, and when Drew and then Damian Priest cashed in the briefcase. Right after Drew McIntyre won the title, I think so. I think that's what you're referring to from
that's
years
back. We talked about that on air. Yep. Well, anyway, all right.
Good call out there. So I think that Drew is owed a win, so I'm taking Jacob Fatu here.
That's probably the way to go.
Drew in movie filming, I don't quite know if that's the thing. I just feel like there's just money to be made in Drew snapping and not getting what he wants. So I would go Drew McIntyre, but I think Fatu, in their minds, needs the win more, which couldn't be further from the truth. But I just feel like this is where it's going. And again, we're used to seeing, and I sound like I'm talking like Shawn Michaels here, and again all the time. But unsanctioned match, you think closes the show. Like you sometimes would have a world title match and then the unsanctioned match at the end of the evening.
That's how AEW does it.
The card with a time limit because they're showing the first hour for free on regular ESPN. It just takes away a little bit of the gusto of unsanctioned match.
So we're gonna move on to Seth Rollins and Gunther. What's gonna go on there?
Well, I actually don't know because I don't know what's going on with these two. So. The match would be great, I'm sure. I mean, they're both great. They just kind of are in that spot of like two main event guys who didn't have anything else to do, and so they're just putting them against each other. I do think it could get interesting with the Heyman and like Gunther wants to work out a deal with him. I think that's going to be that Gunther wants to retire Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam later this year because SummerSlam's in Minneapolis, which is where Brock's from. So I think that could get interesting as time goes on. But for this show, there's not much of a storyline. But I do think this could be one of the best matches of the weekend because it's Seth Rollins and Gunther. I keep picking all the heels, but I just feel like Gunther should win because if he's retired Cena and he's retired AJ, he's retired Goldberg, like he's got too much steam built up. It's like he's retiring everybody. He's probably going to retire Brock. If you're setting him up for that, it wouldn't make sense for him to lose. So I'm going to go with
that. Actually makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Is it just me, Brad? For some reason, I visualized when Bret Hart was watching that Saturday night's main event, he was at some Canadian bar, just like, high-fiving everybody. And
I'm sure there was no happier person in the world than Bret Hart.
So in this one's interesting. Like you said, obviously this was not the intended match. Gunther, there's a couple other opponents lined up. Same with Seth Rollins, between Braun Breaker, even Bronson Reed. It could have even been, Brock Lesnar. So came to this match. They did the best they could to try to make it make sense. But I think Gunther is untouchable right now because of the streak he was on, and I don't think he should be losing anytime soon. So I think that, in my opinion, because I believe that Braun Breaker was at the MSG show, just not cleared yet. So I think he'll make an impact in the match and set up their future match. Now, the problem with that, though, is if that is what they're setting up next, if Rollins takes the L here, are you going to have Braun Breaker lose his return match to Seth Rollins or have Seth lose back-to-back shows? That's where it gets weird. but I'll go ahead and take.
Unless they throw in a disqualification, guy out of the ring, one of those things, third person in out of nowhere, they can always do that.
They sure do that a lot, so they could. They could.
Yeah, hopefully they hold that stuff off from WrestleMania, but
I hope so.
So moving on to the Women's Tag Team Championship, and that has the Fatal 4-Way, Irresistible Force, Nina and Jax and Lash Legends versus the Bella Twins versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Bella.
A lot of names.
But Bailey and Laura and how's that pronounced? Valkyria.
Yeah.
Now here's the question: is this just an eye candy match?
Well, I think the Bellas are not going to.
Weren't they a singing group? The Bellas.
They had a gospel group. They had a gospel group back in the day.
Yes.
The Bellas, I think, aren't going to be in this because Nikki's Bella's hurt for real. I think there's a heavy rumor that they're getting replaced by Asuka and Kairi Sane. So if that happens, I know if this were the Vince McMahon era, Asuka and Kairi would end up winning because nobody's going to expect them to win because they just got added. Kind of Zack Ryder, that happened with him once.
You just sounded like him. I love that.
Lord, I don't know. I've gone with all heels, so I got to go with one of the babyface teams to win. I'm going to go Charlotte and Alexa. I like Charlotte and Alexa. I like that pairing. They're fun. People like them, seem to like them. Okay, so I'm going to go with them. Although Bailey and Lyra could make sense, I'll go with Charlotte and Alexa to win the titles here.
So I'm in agreement. I will take Charlotte and Alexa. I feel like Sol Ruka and Lash Legend made such an impact at the Royal Rumble. I feel like it's kind of fallen off the wayside, and it didn't quite hit with this tag team. Makes sense why they did it, but hopefully this means Lash Legend can go on her own and do bigger and better things. And I mean, that U.S. Championship Women's U.S. title picture needs an Impact player right now.
I can't even remember who has that title.
And I think it's Julia, but
Julia.
Julia. So Darian, what's crazy is last year's 2 women's champions going into WrestleMania, Io Sky and Tiffany Stratton, both not going to be on the WrestleMania card this year. Crazy.
Man, you could have definitely done Julia and Io for that title, or put the title on Io and have Io and Tiffany. There's so much they could have done with that. But okay.
Yep.
So we're going to move now to the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And whenever I read the words Intercontinental Champion, I'm older, right? Who do I think of? Pat Patterson. But in this case, it's going to be AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. The Becky Lynch. Who's going to win?
It sure feels like it's probably going to be Becky for 2 reasons. Number one, AJ's kind of a part-timer, so I would imagine she's going to go away for a little bit after this. And second of all, she's beaten Becky at every turn. I mean, she has beaten Becky every time they have had any interactions. So it would make sense for Becky to finally get one over on her here. So
I agree. Now, I mean, I feel like Becky's above the IC title at this point. So do we, if they're going to give it back to Becky, then who's going to, is someone else going to take it away from her? So it's tough. I wouldn't hate, even though the women's world titles are supposed to be what people go for, this may be an outside the box thought. Probably is not going to happen, but would not be the worst thought because the women's division on SmackDown is just stale. I would not mind at all seeing Becky win this match and have Chelsea Green win the Money in the Bank and cash in on Becky Lynch, even though it's the IC title. I think that could be fun and interesting. Yeah. Just to see that reaction. But usually they don't go for the mid-card titles unless you're Austin Theory. So I'm going to take Becky because, like you said, I think we won't see AJ again until they go to Chicago or something.
Austin Theory went for the mid-card title and lost.
Yes.
Horrible.
Yep.
Horrible.
That just doesn't happen.
So, what I started with erroneously, we're going to end the night. The night one ends with the undisputed WWE Championship match between the champion Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton.
So now, before we cover that one, we'll go back to that in just a second. There is one more match on there. Is the Women's World Championship. We have Stephanie Vaquer.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. Before we do that, and my voice, Stephanie Vaquer, who's the champion, Vaquer rather, versus Liv Morgan, the great and wonderful Liv Morgan. So who's going to win that, and why? Is the champion going to take it, Stephanie, or is Liv going to step up and take that title?
I like Liv. I just don't. I mean, Liv doesn't really need the title. I mean, she's popular enough, and it's not like she needs to be the champion. But I mean, also, I mean, I don't know if Stephanie wins. Maybe that could be an opponent for Becky. Becky go after the world title coming out at some point. And Stephanie and Becky, that's a fresh matchup. Stephanie and Lord, who else is there? I don't even know. I mean, she's faced like everybody. God, they need some more women on the show.
They do. And that's where Lola and Ruka need to make the jump up.
Yeah,
and Jada Parker. Yep.
I mean, fabulous Moolah.
Yeah, fabulous Moolah. I'll go with Stephanie to retain just because I'm seeing everybody pick Liv to win it, and I'll just be outside of the box. I'll go with Stephanie to retain.
I think I don't think this is the last we'll see of Stephanie for a while, but I feel like none of the feuds really, except this one's picked up steam. But I think they're going to go the Liv experiment because, it seems like it was her year, and they can go the Roxanne route, they can go the Raquel route. So this isn't failed with Stephanie, but I think it'll be some time before she's champion again. So I'll take Liv Morgan if she's able to pass the concussion protocol. She had a nasty. I saw she went to that Coachella thing with a hat covering her. But she had a bump on the size of her forehead that was the size of a softball.
That brings up a wonderful point. And I was telling my son on a drive to the hockey game today. We went into Rhode Island. Say what you want about these wrestlers. I respect the heck out of them. Their chances of getting injured, I mean, catastrophically, is very, very high. There's got to be a lot of trust in there. So hopefully she'll pass protocol.
Yep.
I hope so.
So a third time is a charm. Right?
There we go.
That's what the kids say. Undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes as a champion versus Randy Orton.
The amount of times you had to reset and say that again, that's about how many times they've reset this storyline. Just like start over again. I mean, in so many ways, this is like one of the most intriguing matches on the card for all the wrong reasons. It's like what the heck's going to happen here? It's going to be something stupid. You just know there's going to be something so dumb happen in this match. Jelly Roll's going to be out there. Pat McAfee's going to be out there. Everybody thinks The Rock will, but the reports are that he's not planning on being there because, of course, not. He's the father who stepped out for milk a couple of years ago, and we just keep waiting on him to come back. He's never going to come back. So
I love that verbiage.
I have to believe Orton's going to win because the whole deal is that Pat won't ever show up again if Randy loses. And the rumor is that at Backlash, we're going to get that great iconic tag match of Cody and Jelly Roll versus Randy and Pat. So if that's happening, you got to believe Randy's going to win. And this match is almost going to be like a bad car wreck. Like you can't look away. Like it's going to be the match. I'm sure will be good, but it's like, it's going to be something dumb. It's going to be something wacky. And you just got to go along for the ride. I'm going Randy.
Darren, just to put in perspective how wacky this is, okay? So these guys, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, have this 20-year history that sells itself. They don't have to try. They don't even have to try, and it sells itself. But for whatever reason, they went down this Pat McAfee mystery caller shindig, And it's gotten to the point, it'd be like the equivalent of, let's say that somehow Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield never crossed paths for 20 years. They both did their thing. Their big first time bout is 2 weeks away. And somehow the conversation was Marvel or DC, which is better. And that they're fighting over that. Like, that's how absurd this is. It's just like, it has nothing to do. It's just out of left field, not necessary.
The only thing I will add is that you said, who knows why they're doing it? Well, we know why they're doing it. They're doing it because TKO, the company that owns WWE, thinks they got a few more tickets they need to sell, and they think that Pat McAfee is going to sell tickets. Yeah. Outrageous. It's like to go back to your example, it's like going to Tyson and Holyfield, and they need to sell some more tickets, and they're like, you know what? We're going to bring in Bob Saget from Full House, put him at ringside, and see if that moves the needle. You know,
right? It's and here's the thing, you guys too. Okay, nice of them. They're saying, like, you know, they're sabotaging their product, but we're going to give you 20%, 25% off. So forget the people that spent billions of dollars. We're getting 25% off. But that's nice. But Darren, you live in where you live, right? You live where you live, which obviously you live there. But 25% off tickets to night one still means that you have to pay for a hotel 1 week away and a flight 1 week away at absurd prices. It doesn't add, like, I can see if it's a local friends and family discount, but they're hoping to get people from across the world, the globe, to come to Vegas to save 25%. Meanwhile, they're going to make that up and then some on the airfare and the hotel. So it's just.
And even if you're close enough to drive where you don't have to pay for flight, have you seen the gas prices? So, ridiculous. I mean, it's not like that's a cheap route either, you know. It's like.
Right.
No, I lived in California for 16 years. We used to go to Vegas quite a bit. And right now, from what I'm hearing, gas is over $7 a gallon.
Crazy. But you get 25% off.
Yeah.
The first night. The second night, which why would you want to go to second night? Because the other night, Pat said second night was going to be awful. So
I am not kidding. I love that you brought this up. Let's give a real life example. It happened to me today. So I have to tell you, the Providence Bruins do a great job in the AHL. They do a great job. 8,000 people there in their barn. Things are going great. But listen to this giveaway. You know, it was the kind of like you follow the puck, you know, under the hat kind of thing. And if you won a coupon for a free small Wendy's chili with you have to buy something else. Who cares? You gave away a coupon.
The money you're not going to spend on the small Wendy's chili, you're going to have to spend on Pepto-Bismol.
100%.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true. The Tampa Bay Rays do that with their, 10 strikeouts, you win one taco. But to get your taco, you would think you go to Taco Bell. No. You got to go to Kane's Furniture Store.
Right.
To get your coupon to then go to Taco Bell for your one taco.
This is the way I worded it to my friend because he was asking about this whole 25% off night one. I said, this is literally rich people who don't know what it's like to not be rich. Yes. Like they literally are like, well, we'll just give them 25% off night one. Problem solved. It's like, okay, you don't know that, like, a week out with no planning, like, hey, honey, pack the kids up. We're going to Vegas. I got our flights for thousands of dollars. I got our hotel, got an Uber to pick us up at the airport. Like, but that don't even register to them because they're like, oh, who cares? The flights, what is that? A couple thousand?
Right. Yeah. So my final answer, I agree. Randy Orton has to kind of win this one. Seems like the direction they're going. Although, trying to what's happening, what I think it all comes down to, and then we'll move on to night two here in a second, is they realize that nobody wants to boo Randy Orton right now. So they had to put somebody with him to take that boo steam off of him. Now, boo Pat McAfee. But at the end of the day, people want to see Randy Orton do well and succeed. And so it is what it is there. So I agree with you taking Randy Orton. And we'll see what happens from there. So night two, as it stands, Darren, you can take it away, but only 6 matches right now for night 2 compared to the 7. So we'll probably see some shenanigans or added match or something. But
I'm sure. So night 2, after the stellar event of night 1, people are talking about it. Can't get any sleep. They cannot wait to show up. First match of the night: Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi, and it's going to air in the first hour free.
Yeah. Best build of any match going into WrestleMania by far. These two guys have been tearing it up. Oba just has to win. I mean, there's no reason, especially if Brock's getting ready to call it a career.
Yeah.
You know, he may still be in legal trouble for all we know. No comment further. Right. It's just like, why? There's no reason for him to win this.
I'm not saying that. Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying Brock has been around a while. I don't mean to cut you off there, but I'm going to forget my joke in a second. But when Brock comes into the ring, it's always in black and white. He's been around that long.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
2002, man. Please, Oba. It needs to be. Oba he's such a star, and people are just going nuts for this guy. I gotta believe Oba is going to win this, please.
So my prediction. Somehow I feel like Road Dogg somehow is going to hypothetically get into the creative meeting in this one, and somehow he's going to get his way where, a la Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, where it made absolutely no sense for Bray Wyatt to lose in 7 minutes. I think as bad as this is going to sound, I think Brock Lesnar wins the battle, but Oba wins the war. Sounds cheesy and ridiculous. I just feel like that's so WWE in 2026 to do. I hope to God I'm wrong, because they think, one loss is not doing anything to Oba, but I'm sorry, it does. And
it's very much their belief in 2026 is like, he's got to earn it. He's got to earn it. He can't just get the win. He's got to lose so that he can beat him at a later show that nobody cares about. Like that I get that idea you said of like Brock loses the battle, but Oba wins the war. That never works. If they do that,
no, it doesn't.
Because it never works.
It's a terrible idea. I don't know why. Because the same thing. In 17 years from now, when LA Knight actually captures the championship, we're not going to care anymore. So,
well, it's going to be
we got to be patient for LA Knight. Really,
it's going to be when LA Knight wins the title, it's going to be the TNA World Title. As he retires with it or something.
Yeah.
But Brad brought up a great point as we segue into the next match, and I said there's no hubris. I've made 2 documentaries. If I am trying to get new people to watch wrestling because people love it, why would you do a ladder match? I mean, really, it's right. I mean, like, what's going on? Why is the Intercontinental Championship ladder match? The champion Penta versus Yvonne Evans versus Rusev versus Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough versus Rey Mysterio versus Bugs Bunny. There's so much going on. And, if you're new to this, right, why?
It's kind of like the like America's Got Talent, where you have like this act that comes up and they're juggling while someone's jumping through fire, while someone is getting swords thrown at them. I think it's just
spinning a plate.
Car crash. Yeah.
Well, and there's a whole generation of people who started to watch wrestling because of the Hardys and the Dudleys and Edge and Christian who made their name in ladder matches and things like that. So I think if you are a first-time watcher, a multi-man ladder match where, especially with guys like this that are going to be jumping around and flipping and, breaking ladders and jumping off of ladders and doing all these crazy things, either it's going to make you go, I can't deal with this, or it's going to make you go, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, there's no in between. Like, you're either going to love it or hate it. I think it's going to be a lot of action in this, a lot of high flying. Penta's coming in as the champion. I'd like to see Javon Evans win. New guy, young kid. I don't know if anybody that I mean, I know his whole thing is that he's bouncy. I don't know if anybody that can get the air that he does. It's unbelievable. The way that he flies through the air, I have never seen anything like this in my life. So I'd like to see him win. I feel like they might go Ray because they just, want to go with the feel good moment of Ray coming back after a while. I'll go with Ray.
I like that pick. I'm gonna seems great. I'm gonna let Penta retain the title here. I think it would be really. He's worked so hard in the time he's been there, and I think it would be an awesome feel good moment. But typically these matches don't go the champion's favor. But I would love to see Ray as my backup. But yeah, so I definitely can see Ray taking this one and starting to wind things down. But that'll be a lot of fun. Now, Darren, you're about to go into this next match, and this next one I'm going to preface. This is the one that really bothers a lot of people for a couple different reasons why this is the match. Although if this was a standalone one-on-one match, perfectly fine. But go ahead and announce this one, and I'll give my. If that's okay, Brad, I'll go first on this one.
Okay. The next one is Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio, who must be related to Ray. I don't know, but what's going on here, Mike?
So actually, I'm sorry. I had mine. This time it was I had them in back order, so I'll hold my venting session till the next one. So. Okay. Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio. I think we're going to see the demon persona here in this one. If anybody, I mean, Dominic Mysterio is the epitome of I can lose 300 times and it doesn't affect his status iota. So the Finn Balor hasn't won a match since I was a youth. It seems like he needs a big time win. So he has to win this match. Now, would like to see him win as Finn Balor and not just as the demon. But please don't mess this up. Give Finn Balor the win here. Dominic will be perfectly fine.
I agree. And the last time he was the demon, he lost to Edge, I believe it was, at WrestleMania a few years ago. And we haven't seen the demon since. It did so much damage that the demon just had to go away because it was like, well, that did no good. So I think you got to give the demon a win because, I mean, if you don't, you may as well just release Finn Balor and let him go somewhere else because if he can't beat Dominic at WrestleMania, then what is he even doing here?
All right, good to know. And by the way, we're talking the Intercontinental Championship. The United States Championship is on, and I think Mike might want to talk a little bit about that one. Sami Zayn, who's the champion, versus Trick Williams. You can't trust a guy named Trick.
So the one thing that I do say, as bad as wrestling has been this year in the WWE world, now it's nowhere near. People need to remember it's nowhere near the Vince McMahon 2018, 2019, not even close. Put on most anything from the 90s up till 96. Put on anything, in some of the early 2000s. Like that was a lot worse. Let's not kid. But the one thing that I hope people don't lose sight of here is that finally under Triple H, these people that come up from NXT have a purpose when they make the main roster. Obafemi, Javon Evans, Trick Williams are killing it. Now, there's one or two here and there that might not be, but for the most part, they're getting called up and they're superstars. They're full-made stars. So Trick Williams may be the most popular man on the roster right now in terms of his entrance, the whole, just the it factor. But Darren, the reason why this one has me yelling at the clouds here, screaming at the clouds, is because we have Carmelo Hayes, who has fought his butt off several, I want to say maybe over at least 7, I think, title defenses as he's done these U.S. Open challenges. He has been the MVP of a 3-hour show that needs to be an hour and 30 minutes. He has done everything they have asked him to do. It's kind of like in our sports world, in the baseball world, Darren, of you have a stud in high school, gets signed to college, goes to single A, puts in the work, double A, mashes it, triple A, mashes it, gets called up to the main roster, is put in the lineup for game 1, and they're like, go back to Omaha. You've had a good run. It's time to go. Like that's the equivalent of this with Carmelo Hayes. He did everything. Why he couldn't still be part of this in some capacity, 3-way, triple threat match, whatever. I'll never know. The guy should not be sitting at home watching WrestleMania when you've done everything they've asked you to do, and then some, and been the best part of the show. It's like taking out, Derek Jeter, for a World Series Game 7 for some reason, so.
Yeah. Here's my theory on Carmelo. It's either one of two things. Either number one, they're setting this up to add him to the match at the last second so that it'll be, oh, yay, and then he'll win and yay, Carmelo. Because they're really going overboard to show he's hurt. He can't compete, just so like they're wanting to swerve you at the end and bring him back in. That's the first option. Second option is that they want this to be Trick Williams' moment where he wins the title and gets cheered and everybody goes nuts. And I think maybe they're thinking if we keep Carmelo in there, it's going to split the fans and some people are going to want to see Carmelo win. And so if Trick wins, he won't get as big of a reaction as if Carmelo's in there as he would if it was him by himself. I get that, but it still is no fun for Carmelo, who deserves to be on the card. I mean, he's legitimately, and Ilya Dragunov too. I mean, these are guys that I know everybody can't get on the card, but like Carmelo was the champion. I mean, this is almost the equivalent of Drew McIntyre getting left off the card after carrying the title and all these storylines. So I do think there's still a chance Carmelo gets thrown in there at the last second, but my gut feeling is if Vince were still running this company, Sami would win. Sami Zayn would win, and then he would become the number one contender for the main title, and it would just be the Sami show if Vince were running this. But I think they want Trick to win the title and have a big, happy, star-making moment. They've got the rapper with him, Lil Yachty. They've got him, like you said, he's a star. I'm going to go with Trick to win this. I know there's an outside chance of Carmelo getting added, but I think what's going to happen is Trick wins, and then Trick and Carmelo feud for the title coming out of WrestleMania, which will be good if they do, because those two are great together.
Yes, I agree. Trick has to win this one. I know Sami just got the title, but this is a moment you don't hold off. Same with Oba, even though I didn't pick him to win, he needs to win. Same here. Trick is let's strike while the iron is hot for sure.
So we move to the WWE Women's Championship. You know who's fighting in this, and it's Jade Cargill. She's champion against Rhea Ripley. Believe it or not, who's going to win that?
Oh man, I really like Jade. Her title run has just been so boring, and I don't know what it is about that title. Like when Tiffany won it, she got boring. When Jade won it, she got boring. I'm just like, why can't people have a good run with this title? And I think it's because they don't have enough women. Like they don't have enough good women challengers for the title right now. It's not that they don't have talented women, but like Charlotte and Alexa are two main eventers, but they're in a tag team, So anyway, I mean, Jade probably should win because she's got the new group, which isn't over at all, but they're a group. And if you're just going to lose right after you got your new group, then it's like, well, why do you have a group then? And I mean, Rhea doesn't need that. Rhea's so like a star and a bona fide main eventer no matter what she does. So she definitely doesn't need the title at all unless they just want to give the title some credibility again, because I don't even remember the last time Jade defended it. I'm going to say Jade wins this though.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jade wins. I don't see them moving Rhea over to SmackDown. I think there's still things that could be done. We still want to have that blow off her and Io at some point, finally getting the win over Io and stuff like that. Jade wins, but it's like another case where you have these two stars, right? Jade Cargill looks the part, Rhea Ripley acts the part, and the story should be there. And it's like, it's like they're talking, my arms are bigger than your arms and my left toe is better than your right toe. Like it's just weird. And
how many times, and I know you're children's pastor, I'm a worship pastor, how many times can you call each other the B word on television before it's just like okay, we get it like every week that's all they know to do is just call each other that, and I'm like, hey, what else?
Right, it's like the episode of Seinfeld, I think, of with Elaine with the exclamation marks. It's like, how many times do we need to have? Yeah. It's just, exactly. That's spot on. So don't know how it'll end, but I think Jade Cargill gets the win here. I think really, I think we can all agree if we can get rid of two titles, to me at least, we keep the IC, we keep the women's US, but we have one women's world champion and we have one set of tag team champions. It will elevate because then because there's so many mid-card, it'll elevate the mid-carders to have to go for that one world title. You can still have the IC and the US be the workhorse championship on their respective shows. But because when they're pushing this women's tag team thing now, that's even more prestigious than the women's world title. So I think those would be the two titles that need to go, and the speed title as well. But that's another story.
I think you're spot on with that. I mean, Brad talked earlier about football, and he has a football podcast. We got to talk about the Titans sometime. But you want a great metaphor, kind of analogy of that, Mike? And that is the bowl system in college football. Like, you have really a two-tiered system now in bowls. There's so many bowls, and they're all corporately sponsored. It's the I get rid of toe fungus bowl, and it's like, and literally there's like the Purina Kachow, bowl, and nobody cares. And who are these people? And they're bowl eligible. No, but they're really not a bowl team. I mean, it's great for their local fans, and that's what you have here. Less belts are better belts. I've always felt that way.
I agree. Spot on.
So we're going to segue to the World Heavyweight Championship.
Here we go. Champion
CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, CM Punk. And if you're watching right now, who do you think's going to win this one? Let us know. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns.
This is the one I'm least sure of, and that's a good thing because, like, you wanna have a little mystery around your big main event for the weekend. I don't know. I think that I've enjoyed the build to this. I know some people have complained about it. I think like it's been one of the better builds going into this WrestleMania. I think they've both done a good job, especially Punk. I thought Punk's promo this past Monday was one of the best he's ever done. I don't know. I mean, I have a Roman Reigns shirt on. I also have a CM Punk shirt somewhere, so it's not like I'm just more devoted to one than the other. But I think if Roman wins, the danger there is that he's going to go away for 3 months. You know what his contract is. He takes time off after WrestleMania every year. Then he comes back for SummerSlam, and then he takes time off after SummerSlam. Good for him. Good for you, dude, that you got that contract. But when he's the champion and he just disappears for months at a time, that can get tricky. Punk, I think, has had a good run with the title. I think he's an entertaining champion. He's having a good reign with the title. As of right now, I'm going to go with Punk to retain. I just don't know why. I don't know. I don't see Punk just winning and the show ends. I think there's going to be shenanigans. I don't know if that'll be Jay finally turns on Roman. He's turned on him like 5 times. I mean, like they turn on each other all the time now. So I don't know if that would be a big enough moment. I don't know. I don't know what the big angle is going to be because I don't think it's just going to be Punk hits his move and wins. I think it's going to be some kind of shenanigans. But I do think Punk walks out with the title.
Yeah, the ending of this, and we are doing perfect on time, by the way. We're took it up to right to the end here. So I think, man, and this could go in so many different ways. You're exactly right. Like, could see Roman winning because you have that Backlash tag team dream match that's going to main event the show, or not going to. So, but I don't want to see that route. I feel like, and I could be wrong here, Punk has killed it with this run. I'm not ready for it to end just yet. There's still some big matches that could be had. So I think possibly Punk, they have a match. I can see no shenanigans, and Punk goes for the handshake after that. Finally, I have your respect. And then we see a return to a heel Roman Reigns when he comes back. I know everyone loves chanting OTC, OTC, but it feels like that Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, there can only be one Highlander. But so I feel like at this point, CM Punk should continue on a little bit longer. Roman Reigns will go away a little bit and maybe come back and then win the championship at a later date. That's the route I would go. Tease the I respect you, and then there's a beatdown.
Can I throw out a quick storyline suggestion for the end of WrestleMania?
Please.
Yes, is this from is this from Reasonable Guy? Or
yes, I have his. Hold on, I know I just froze up for a second. Hold on.
It should just kind of release, right?
Yeah. Usually we'll do the wave and then it'll come back on.
Yeah. Oh. He hates you.
He'll be okay. I'm sure he's still there. It's just a device thing, so we'll keep it. I know we're pretty close to ending here, but I want to make sure he gets his final thought in here. But those of you watching, we will be back live this Thursday night. We'll let you know on social media what that is going to be. Also want to apologize. I know we said that I get some content out daily on TikTok, which you created and things like that, with some baseball stuff. We are going to still get there, even if it's a little bit late. So we didn't forget about you. But yeah, so, all right. He is back. Yes.
Oh, like this.
I got to put on my reasonable guy toboggan. Okay. My storyline idea. And I don't know if people would like this or not. We already said we predicted Randy to win the title night one, win the title from Cody. What if Randy, because Pat and CM Punk are kind of having this back and forth. If Randy Orton and Pat McAfee help Roman Reigns win the title night 2, and then Ari Emanuel comes out and stands with Pat, Orton, and Reigns, and he's like, "These are my guys. These are my guys," because they're leaning into this whole WWE TKO thing. Ari Emanuel comes out and is like, "These are my guys. Roman Reigns, my champions." And then Triple H comes out to end the show. And he's like, "What the heck's going on here?" And that's how WrestleMania is. So now you've got your I'm not saying that's what I want. I don't even know if I would like that. But I'm saying I could see them doing it.
That's a civil war. That sells.
What you just did there, Brad, is were you ever a fan of Lost? Did you ever watch the show Lost?
Oh, one of my favorites.
One of the best, right? So seasons 1 and 2, part of 3, amazing. Then they had the writer's strike, and then it just went. And so by the time people were upset with the ending of Lost, but it was because they had went so far off the beaten path, like there's no way to end it the perfect way. Yeah. What you just did is the best way to put a bow tie or a wrap around what they just messed up immensely these 2 weeks. But what you just said right there could be the perfect way to, okay, we may not get everyone soaked on this idea, but that's the best way to tie it in and go, okay, maybe that's not what they were going for, but that's what they came up with, and I can dig that.
Right. So then you can have Punk, Cody going against them. They're on Triple H's WWE team. The Usos are now having to go against Roman because they're not gonna, whatever. Just something they could do.
And if that happens, though, it'll be 5-on-5 with LA Knight going, "What about me?" It should have been me.
LA Knight being like, "Oh, wait a minute, I guess I'm going to go work in a bingo hall." But then you know what it leads to. It leads to Roman dropping the ball at some point. The TKO team gets fed up with him, and they have to bring back The Rock to kick him out of the group because they got to do Rock and Roman in Riyadh next year because there's too much money on the line. So,
yes.
I know we're going to jump off soon, a couple minutes, but I got a quick, serious yes and no question for both of you, all right? And I'll start with you, Brad. Here's the question. I think we can all agree that there were a lot of people who were disappointed with the Royal Rumble. It's just the whole production.
Yeah.
Brad, on Monday, are people going to be happy with how WrestleMania went the 2 nights?
Probably not. I mean, listen, I think like that's we're circling back to how this whole conversation got started with how you talk about this stuff online, like we have here, like I do on my videos. There's a reasonable way to do it. There's a way to do it that's not just over the top. Most people are going to be over the top though, and that's kind of what is in the internet wrestling fandom. Everything's kind of over the top, everything. So if the show's just all right, people are going to go crazy online and be like, "This is the worst thing I've ever seen," because that's just what people do. Brother. Yeah. So, the odds are people are probably not going to be happy with whatever happens because it's just the way it is set up right now is like a breeding ground for unhappiness when it's all said and done. So
I understand that, Mike. Are they going to be fan mad or?
So my thought is the matches can deliver, even though the build wasn't what it should have been, except for one or two matches. At the end of the day, it's really Oba, Brock, and it's really Liv and Stephanie that actually stepped up a little bit. But I feel like the matches can deliver if the matches deliver the way they can, and most of them are bangers, whatever. People can forgive the lack of build. Doesn't mean it should ever be this way again. We need to have better build. But I think people with pants can appreciate it. It's going to be the people with no pants on in their mother's basement that are going to be complaining about what happened.
I love the way you put that.
This is worse than WWE 2019
into their system.
Yep, I agree.
Mom, I have to watch it loud. It's better that way.
So, absolute blast. I'm so glad that we got to do this. Hopefully we'll get to chat again and in the future. Final, just one more time, if you want to share one last time where people can find you on social media to see all your great content.
Well, you can look up, if you're into wrestling content, which obviously if you've watched this, you probably are, Elite's Wrestling Conversation. It's there on the screen. You can look me up on Instagram, TikTok, X. I'm trying to post more on X. I'm just now getting that going. I've only got like 100 followers on there. But those three platforms, I'm doing it. I'm starting the What We Do Wrestling podcast, and I'm planning on going live tomorrow night after Raw to do my first live stream. I'm about to post it right now. Going to talk about the Go Home Raw tomorrow night. And, of course, with WrestleMania coming up, we'll be talking about that. If you're into the NFL, Tennessee Titans, you can look me up at Two Tone Talk. And if you want to hear me sing and talk about music, you can look up my name, which is Brad Steele. 3 different separate things, and most of the people on each one don't know about each other. So I just recently started singing on the wrestling page, and people didn't know I sang. So
it's great.
Yeah, they were like, wait a minute, where'd that? Because they saw so many wrestling content in a row, and then you had the one to sing, and they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yes, I know that. Well, I'm just saying, if you like to, forget Def Rebel, if you want to redo some of these themes, I would be perfectly fine with that. But yeah, we'll definitely have you on for some Titans talk down the line too, as well. We love to have those things. So thank you. And I'm going to ask you, we always, our final tagline here, if you're okay with that, our final tagline is always, we'll see you around the ballpark. But because you're a guest of honor, this one time I would love for you to end it the way it needs to be ended, this podcast. Explain why we even did this in the first place.
Well, something, I'll see you around the ballpark, because that's why we do what we do.
Amen. Love that so much. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate it. It's been a blast. I'll definitely stay in touch. See you guys around. Thank you so much. Bye.
Appreciate you.
Yes.